Well, you really can't make this stuff up, I have to say. I have an update for you on the House Republicans whistleblower that was supposed to blow the lid off of the Biden crime family's corruption and reveal it all to the American people. And we've waited month after month for the evidence to be brought forward. And this hinged on primarily because the evidence they didn't have, but they said that someone had the evidence and they know who the person is and eventually they'll get it, was this whistleblower, this credible whistleblower. That's what we heard from James Comer leading the charge on this. And for a time, the whistleblower vanished. That was a whole saga of its own. Funny, we talked about it. Now I have for you a little bit more information on this whistleblower who's supposed to have evidence of Joe Biden being bribed at some point in time. And I guess one bit of description, it's Gal Luft is the name, and he's a co-director of the Institute for the Analysis of Global Security. That sounds legit in Washington, D.C. All right, dang, maybe the House Republicans were correct. I should mention, though, by the way, he's a fugitive. And we got the unsealed indictment on this Gal Luft yesterday from the DOJ. Pretty wild. Like I said, you can't make this stuff up. This is the quote-unquote credible whistleblower, a fugitive. This is from The Independent, and we'll go through the specifics on this. It just keeps getting more bonkers. A whistleblower who has repeatedly accused the Bidens of corruption has been charged by the Justice Department with arms trafficking, acting as a foreign agent for China, and violating Iran sanctions. Gal Luft, who is a citizen of both the United States and Israel, is accused, and listen to this part, of paying a former advisor to Donald Trump on behalf of principals in China in 2016 without registering as a foreign agent. Let's just go back to the beginning of that paragraph. Gal Luft, who's a citizen of the United States and Israel, is accused of paying a former advisor to Donald Trump on behalf of principals in China in 2016 without registering as a foreign agent. And then if we jump over to the U.S. Attorney's statement on this, Damian Williams, as alleged, Gal Luft, a dual U.S. Israeli citizen and co-head of a Maryland think tank, engaged in multiple serious criminal schemes. He subverted foreign agent registration laws in the United States to seek to promote Chinese policies by acting through a former high-ranking U.S. government official. He acted as a broker in deals for dangerous weapons and Iranian oil, and he told multiple lies about his crimes to law enforcement. Credible whistleblower. Now, I have to say, it's not a bad idea for it is bad because it's false, it's lying. But if you don't care about those types of things, which you should, but let's say this whistleblower doesn't, it's not a horrible idea if you know you're in legal trouble to try to be protected by House Republicans by going to them and saying, I have the evidence that Joe Biden's corrupt, but you're going to have to protect me when the indictments come down. Because now that's what we're seeing. I think I saw Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, one of the two. I always mix up their vibes. I think it was Ron Johnson saying House Republicans need to figure out how to give him immunity and protect him. And maybe that was the goal the whole time. Okay, I did a bunch of stuff. I actually was trying to peddle influence, just not with Biden's administration or not with Biden himself. And so I'm going to try to get House Republicans, because of how motivated they are to go after Joe Biden, to protect me and then say that the Biden administration is coming after me for this. That could be it. I'm just completely speculating. But it's so strange that he would be caught up in doing the thing with someone who's not Biden, related to the Trump administration is one of the details, that they're accusing Biden of being caught up in. And then now he's being indicted for that, among other things, weapons deals and oil stuff. And it's really, really stunning. So now I want to get to, shortly before this news came out, James Comer was on Newsmax complaining that MSNBC isn't taking him seriously. And then we'll get to MSNBC's response after this news.
No, he's very credible. And the people on MSNBC who made fun of me when I said we had an informant that was missing, they should feel like fools right now.
They are fools.
And this is their worst.
They should feel like fools, he says. And then the news breaks, and Morning Joe responded to that comment saying this.
And then we move on to Comer and Hunter Biden's laptop and Hunter Biden's this and Hunter Biden's that. And they just, again, I'm dead serious here, they keep making fools of themselves. And Comer, I mean, at some point, Comer, who I understand was once a fairly respected member of Congress, if I'm not mistaken from what I've read, at some point you got to quit while you're behind. And they just can't do it now. Now he's gone on TV bragging about having a guy who is a fugitive from the law, who helped smuggle oil for Iranian oil to the Chinese Communist Party, is an illegal arms dealer, and is suspected of illegally cooperating with the Chinese. I don't know if he's a Chinese spy, if it's Chinese espionage. I don't know exactly how the feds are going to term that eventually, but he's a fugitive on the run from the law for helping the Chinese, helping the Iranians, smuggling Iranian oil to the Chinese Communist Party. Again, quit while you're behind James.
I love that. Quit while you're behind James Comer. True. Yeah, if your whole case against Biden hinges on that guy, I don't know about that, James. But then they'll turn around and say the stack of evidence against Trump is nothing. They'll look at the unsealed indictment against Trump and say, no, that's nothing. This is political persecution. But the Biden stuff, we got some real stuff on him. What are you talking about? And just a couple more things on kind of this narrative. Jumping over to the IRS whistleblower that was saying the investigation into Hunter Biden was interfered with because of who Hunter Biden was, and David Weiss, the U.S. attorney who was prosecuting or overseeing the case against Hunter Biden, didn't have full decision-making powers. That seems to be getting knocked down by David Weiss himself, who this whistleblower is alleging things about. And Lindsey Graham apparently sent a letter to the U.S. attorney who oversaw the deal that was made between Hunter Biden's lawyers and the U.S. attorney's office. And the U.S. attorney responded to Lindsey Graham's letter that was written to him saying, no, I had the authority to make decisions on this case and I wasn't interfered with.
They claimed that Mr. Weiss, the U.S. attorney from Delaware, sought special counsel status and was denied that status, and that he wanted to bring charges in D.C. and California, but he was told no. So what did I do? I wrote Mr. Weiss and said, what's the deal here? Did you ask for special counsel status? He told me in the letter he had a discussion about it, but he was sure he could get it if he needed it, and he never really answered the question. The second thing that he said in the letter back to me was he never went to D.C. or California for more serious charges. He was never rebuffed by those jurisdictions. But here,
Right. So the two things of him trying to bring charges in other places and that being denied, or wanting to pursue that and it being prevented, and getting special counsel status, both those things he's saying, no, there was no wrongdoing on that front. Wasn't interfered with. This narrative is not accurate. The person who the narrative is about, David Weiss, who again is a Trump appointed U.S. attorney. He's the one who was watching over or heading up the Hunter Biden investigation, and then what ended up ending in a plea deal that they call a sweetheart deal, but was actually in line with a lot of deals you see for these types of potential charges. So on all fronts, the whole Republican effort to make out Biden's administration to be super corrupt is all sort of falling apart.